Hi, thanks for joining me today. Are you seriously concerned that by coupling or marrying or moving in with a partner who has children of their own, you might be an unwelcome visitor, and that the right thing to do is to allow that parent to parent their child as a priority over any subsequent relationship they may form with somebody like you? I post once a week, so subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell, and I'll let you know every time I post. Should you not become a step-parent because the child came first? Is there good reason why you shouldn't partner somebody with children? Because their children should be their top priority, and therefore you are usurping them and making it more difficult. And my feeling about this is that it can be one of balance. Parenting is a very special and important role, but that I would go further than that and say that it is quite important that an adult couples with another to form a adult-to-adult relationship, so that relationship will be continued and sustained after the children have grown up and left home. And of course, for that to happen successfully is not easy, because when you bring together a family from parts of a family from the past and put it together with making a family for the future, then you've got all sorts of mini hurdles to overcome. Many of which, in fact, I hope most of which, I talk about in this YouTube video series. But it's all about bringing two cultures together, the way that things used to be done in the past and the way they're going to be done in the future. It's about a balancing act, so that the child feels as though they've not been abandoned, but the partner doesn't feel second best. It's about putting in place boundaries for everybody so that the family and the household can function well. It's about respect and listening to each other and building relationships slowly. There are lots of hurdles that need to be overcome to bring this situation together in a healthy and hopefully happier way for the future going forward. But if I was to say that it would be better for the parent to not couple with somebody, but to spend their entire time bringing up the child, then that isn't right for the child either, because they become what's often called parentified. It's very difficult when you've just got you and your child not to sort of give them the kind of companionship that you'd associate with adult to adult instead of adult to child. It's very important that that child remains a child and that they can grow up and leave home and form a life of their own. That's what parenting is about. But it's all too easy to, if the child is given top priority in everything, for the child, through no fault of its own, to become feeling entitled and as though they're a fellow adult and as though they've got a right to be consulted on absolutely everything, and that they're their parents' companion, equal companion, have equal weight in decision making. Now, of course, Not all children of single parents are parentified or overindulged or entitled, but it is in the situation where the family hierarchy has been inverted, so to speak, that the complaint that the step-parent is coming in when they shouldn't is more likely. Now, of course, you want to give your children decision-making powers and responsibilities and help them to become adults. But you don't want that family system to be turned upside down, whereby the child feels as though they've got total decision-making right in the family over and above their parents' new partner. Because that then gives them too much power. It gives them too much decisions. It gives them too much responsibility. And all of those things can be quite onerous for the child. And they're not in a position to make the right choices either. That's for them when they grow up and form relationships of their own. So, in answer to the question of whether or not a parent should put their child first, my answer to that question is it upsets the normal hierarchy, and then the child could have problems later because they could have problems separating from their parent and destroying that relationship that their parent created in order to go and form another relationship with an equal partner in their lives elsewhere. It makes separation more difficult. It's important that a child feels as though they can be a child. They can test boundaries. They can be wrong. You know, it's very easy for a parent to say, oh, this, so-and-so, responsible, sensible, like a mini adult, a great companion to me. Any of those kinds of labels gives the child undue responsibility. So whilst I'm saying, of course children are important, parenting is an incredibly important role. It's a real privilege. It's really special. But it is also important not to get things upside down. And perhaps the best way is for the parent to form adult-to-adult relationships and introduce step-parents into the family environment, but to overcome the hurdles of step-parenting by looking at the rules, looking at the culture, working to bring things together, listening to the child, but not giving the child too much responsibility. Then the two adults can take the role of managing the family and all the decisions that go with that, and the child can grow up as a child, as a healthy child, able to be themselves and in due time to grow on up and grow on out and lead lives of their own. That, I think, is what we're aiming for in family life. We run workshops, sessions, we have an email response service, and we write booklets. You can find links to our social media and website in the description box below.